Kyiv wants guarantees that Ukraine will accede to NATO soon after the war.
Here's a summary of the article.
Ukraine wants to accede to the North Atlantic Treaty Organization soon after securing a military victory over Russia, and hopes to receive guarantees that this will happen during the NATO summit in Vilnius this July. Details. Havrilov said that NATO should provide Ukraine with a list of steps to be taken to ensure its accession, with a clear confirmation that Ukraine is a legitimate candidate for NATO membership. We would like to hear the plan or roadmap, or a list of actions to be done by both sides, NATO and Ukraine, to achieve the membership in a very short period of time, Havrilov said. Havrilov recognized that Ukraine cannot accede to NATO while the war is ongoing, but said that, at the same time, we have to understand that after our victory, our process of joining the bloc will be very, very short. This will include NATO countries committing to help Ukraine win the war, supporting the Ukrainian economy, and supporting sanctions and other forms of putting pressure on Russia. Previously, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that he understands that Ukraine cannot accede to NATO with the war still ongoing, but sees no reason to take part in the NATO summit in Vilnius if Ukraine will not receive concrete indications regarding when it would be able to join the alliance. Kyiv has said that it is preparing to discuss two sets of issues during the NATO summit, political and practical.
This post received a score of 6,800, with an upvote ratio of 96%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
How can NATO give such a guarantee? Hungary and Turkey would have to sign off on it.
I'm fairly certain Ukraine is closer to their buy-in than Sweden was. Ukraine hasn't exactly been part of the liberal West. I would assume the main issue is Hungary right now appeasing Russia by excluding Crimea as part of Ukraine. Orban hasn't seen an issue he's not willing to edge Lord.
Orban wants a part of UKR with Hungarian minority. They're less than 10% of the population of the only oblast with a Hungarian minority. Would be pretty hard to make that assertion.
That would not stop him from vetoing forever until he gets it.
He'll die before he gets anything.
Hopefully that fat fuck has heart disease and it happens soon.
An insult to fat fucks everywhere, sir. I don't think Hungary will go for that.
They can swap places.
Somebody should suggest this to Putin.
I think all they can promise is the usual. If you meet the criteria, we will take your application seriously. You can't guarantee membership to NATO, it doesn't work like that. That said, as far as I'm concerned, as a citizen of a NATO country, I would be mighty pissed if NATO ever hinders or blocks such membership once the dust settles. There might be some pissant country temporarily objecting to try to get its own advantage, but fuck, if that wouldn't make them look at their own rules requiring everyone in NATO to agree.
I see the primary reason for everyone agreeing is because an attack on one is an attack on all. So every member of NATO has to be fully behind every other member and ready to go to war if one is attacked. If you have members that aren't ready to go to war for another member, then the alliance starts to fall apart. That is my belief behind it though. I am sure the complexities go much deeper, but that is my simplification of it.
If Turkey and Greece can back each other as NATO members, I don't see any long-term problem for Ukraine in joining NATO.
Greater than if Turkey and Greece can back each other as NATO members, I don't see any long-term problem for Ukraine in joining NATO. A big problem there is that there's also a general idea that nobody would ever attack NATO simply because the organization has too many large powers in it. One of the reasons there's been so much controversy in the last decade is that a number of countries have gotten lax on their commitments to the alliance, resulting in things like Germany waffling for so long because their tanks were in such disarray, or Canada fielding the same helicopters for over 50 years when Ukraine getting equivalent ones was considered controversial due to their lack of besides just being a vaguely functional aircraft. In practicality, the biggest advantage of being in NATO is that the US will come out and attack anyone who attacks you, so a good portion of the countries in NATO not directly threatened by Russia simply don't invest into it as they agreed to.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.